Yeah. Y'all watching the Grind Ethics mixtape show, and I'm your host, Victory, BX Supreme Promoter, basically. You know what I mean? I'm saying? Basically. Yo, what up? What up? Thank y'all for watching a new episode. Yo, anyone that like this episode, I'll be very grateful if anyone follow me on my links. Grind Ethics Cash. No, I said Grind Ethics Cash App. Grind Ethics Media 22 at Instagram. And I'm also at Grind Ethics Mixtape Show. And I'm also on TikTok. And anyone that definitely like this episode, like, share, subscribe. But when you do subscribe, or drop a comment. And when you do subscribe, ring that bell. So every time when I upload new episodes, y'all be the first ones to get it. And definitely if you like this episode, hit me. You can hit me with a friendly link. A friendly donation if you want. Nothing too big. The link is Cash App, Grind Ethics Cash App, and I'm also on Grind Ethics at PayPal. Everything is down below. The link is down below the channel. And also I gotta give a big shout out to my proud sponsor, Yamaha Naturals. Anybody that want to learn more about sea moss, if you heard about sea moss, or you don't know what it is, or if you need some sea moss, click on Yamaha Naturals and you can learn about sea moss or actually order it. And also follow Yamaha Naturals on Instagram. They are also on Instagram. And also Yamaha Naturals got more natural products on display. That they got other natural products on display that you could buy. Okay, that you could buy. Anyway, the topic of today's episode is: it's nothing wrong with asking your family members for money. They're your biggest asset. Your family is your biggest asset, your main asset. Some of y'all just don't see it. Some of y'all see it, some of y'all don't see it. I just started seeing it myself, that my own physical family, they're all my biggest assets. My biggest asset, because there's been times throughout my 20s, 30s, and 40s, there's been times, even without me even asking, they break me off with something, a little something, or whatever. You know? Without even asking for a dime back. That's the type of family I have. And some people are jealous because I have that type of family. Some people are jealous because my mom still give me money, even though I don't ask her for nothing. But if my mom's want to give me, let's say $100, that's her business. What's wrong with that? You see, that's the problem with this world that we live in. This world is too toxic. This world or society will make you think that you're wrong, or you bad, or you diabolical for asking a family member for money. Oh no! Don't ask me for money. Don't ask your cousin or your auntie for money. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? You have to ask yourself. First of all, you have to ask yourself this. What's wrong with asking a family member, whether they're related to you or non-related? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with you asking them for money if you really need it, especially if you're willing to give them back, and especially if you're willing to give it back to them plus more? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What I don't understand. Like for so many years, I fell into this shit. I fell into this social trap, because that's what it is. It's a social trap. Okay? Enforced by social police. Okay? And I felt bad about asking my family members for money, because I was taught that I shouldn't do that. But because I'm a man, and that's not what men do. Men don't ask other men for money, or men don't ask other people for money. Or grown women don't ask other people for money. You're grown. You're on your own now. You ain't supposed to ask nobody for nothing. You're supposed to work hard and bust your ass in life and race to be successful. Be on top as much as possible without any help at all. Now, what the fuck is that? like, what type of reality is that? Like, I don't. It's something wrong with that. It's something wrong with that. I ain't supposed to ask my mother for money. I ain't supposed to ask my daddy for money or my cousins or my aunties. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Especially if I'm a businessman. Hey, if I ask, let's say one of my cousins for like a little $100 for some merchandise because I need to buy some more or stash up some merchandise, I'll give my cousin or whoever, whether I'm related to this person or not related to this person. If I see this person as family and this person gives me $100, I'm gonna give them a little bit more. I'm gonna give them a little bit more back, plus the principal. What's wrong with that? That's business. That's business. And artists, entrepreneurs, or people in general, if you have to ask your family members for money, do that. Especially if you're gonna pay them back. Do that. If you live in, like for example, we live in New York City here. We trapped in New York City, right? Or you might have a place like Chicago, LA, any expensive city. And it's hard. It's hard to live in an expensive ass city, and most of your bills is going towards rent, mostly, and other bills, but mostly rent because these landlords are fucking greedy. So you're supposed to handle everything on your own? Seriously? On your own? Now me walking on a different path of life and switching up my mindset. That shit. Once I think about that, that's kind of like a self-destructive mindset that people have. Not seeking for help from people that's closest to you, whether they be friends or family members or even an associate. What's wrong with asking these type of people for money when you're going to give it back to them anyway? And especially if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're an artist trying to make money, or if you're an artist trying to be an entrepreneur. What's wrong with that? But this world that we live in make us feel like we committed a sin, right? They make us feel bad, and people be like, "Oh, I can't ask nobody in my family for money. I got too much pride. I don't ask nobody for money. I got too much pride." Fuck your pride, okay? Sometimes you gotta say fuck your pride. What the fuck? Your pride ain't giving you no. Your pride ain't putting no money in your motherfucking pockets, nigga. What's wrong with asking a cousin or a brother or a sister for money if you get along with them? Now, if they're assholes and if they're the type of person to throw shit in your face, "Oh, I did this for you. Remember? I did that for you. Remember?" Maybe you wouldn't want to deal with them. But other family members that don't treat you like that, or let's say friends that don't treat you like that, why not ask them for a little money and you pay them back plus more? And you know what? You're doing them a favor, because you're putting more money in their hands. Let's say you're an entrepreneur or you're an inspired entrepreneur, and you need and you need a little $200, right? Just a little $200, nothing crazy, right? And you tell your friend or a family member, "Listen, I got this business out there. It's kind of short term, so I could give you your money back fast in a way, maybe in a month or 2 months." You know what I'm saying? And your friend might agree with that. And you be like, "Yo, since you gave me $200, I'll give you back $250, which is almost $300." And you actually doing that person that you know a favor. Because let's say your friend or your family member is in a tough financial bind and they need a quick $200 or $250 or whatever. And then you come along with the money that you owe them, the principal plus interest, $250. You're doing them a favor. Whether they need the money or not, you're still by giving them their money back. Or even if you're giving them back their principal and not interest, you still do them a favor. Well, they did you a favor back, but you really do them a favor if you're giving them the little interest, the little extra. You do them a favor. That's business. It's personal and it's business. What's wrong with that? You see, this is how we're programmed. This is how the majority of the world is programmed, especially us that live in the ghetto. We're programmed to be like that. But you look at people who are so-called financially rich. Financially rich. I say that because finance is an illusion. But people who are financially rich, they ask for their friends and their family members for money all the time, whether it's personal or business. You got upper middle class people and people who are financially rich that lend money to each other on a regular basis, and nobody feels bad about nothing. And nobody's making a person feel bad about giving a person money. That's not how it goes in upper middle class ciphers. When it comes to crowds or groups of people that's in the upper middle class circle, or people who are rich in money or so-called money rich. Okay, that doesn't go on. That's not the mindset of these type of people that got money to spread. But us so-called middle class people and so-called poor people, we want to make each other feel bad about asking each other for money. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my homeboys. No disrespect to him. I got love for him. But he was not trying to, but he was making me, it's like he was trying to convince me to think a certain way, or trying to make me feel like it's not good to ask my nephew, who's a grown ass man, for money. Even though I gave my nephew back the principal that he gave me, plus a little extra money. You know what I'm saying? And my nephew wasn't even asking. He wasn't even thinking about the little money that he gave me. And without him expecting it, I gave him back. Yeah, a little bullshit $20 plus $20 more. I gave him back 40. And one of my homies, he made me kind of feel bad. But I snapped out of it. He made me feel bad for a few minutes, but he kind of made me feel bad about asking my nephew for money. He was like, "You his uncle. You ain't supposed to ask your nephew for money. You ain't supposed to ask your nephew for money." Like I committed some type of crime or a misdemeanor or something. Since when Congress passed a law that you can't ask a family member for money? I don't remember that law. Is it against the Constitution? I don't remember. Somebody please tell me, because I don't know. You know? And he's my homie. I wasn't trying to fight him and argue, because I don't like to debate. Debating takes too much of my life. I'm good. If that's what he thinks, okay. I'm not trying to convince him to think him otherwise. I'm not trying to convince him to think another way. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But don't feel bad, peoples, about asking anyone for money, because like I said, your family is your biggest asset. Some of y'all don't have no asset. Some of y'all don't own nothing, especially some of y'all 9-to-5ers. Some of y'all don't own shit. Y'all just work for fucking money. You just break your motherfucking back for this dumb money shit. Okay? And you don't own nothing. You've been working a job 20-something, 30-something years, and don't own shit. And the only asset some of y'all have, and some of y'all 9 to 5ers do own something. Some of y'all have real estate. Some of y'all own stocks. Some of y'all have something on the side that might be bringing you extra money. But most 9 to 5ers don't own shit. Most 9 to 5ers don't even own the place that they live in, nigga. But a lot of 9 to 5ers, a lot of workers, right? They have family. The only asset that they have is what? Family. The only people that they know that's gonna loan them money is what? Who? Family. Whether it's related or non-related. That's it. And your family is your biggest asset. You have to treat them that way. And you have to treat, and when you ask them for money, you have to, I'm not saying write up a whole proposal, whatever. You might have to, now, if you have a business idea, you might want to, pay somebody some money, or you might want to learn how to write your own proposal, a professional proposal, so you can submit to a family member, be like, this is my business idea. Before I ask you for $1,000 or $2,000, here's a professional proposal, so you could clearly see what I'm trying to do or what I want to do. And that's it, man. This society is based on, well, one of the things the society is based on is making people feel bad about shit. We live in a world where people always make you feel bad about something. It's either a family, and family do it too. Family and friends are notorious for making you feel bad about something, whether they're conscious of it or not. They're notorious for that. Some friends and some of your friends and some of your family members. But what type of world we live in, though? See, back in the day, this is why I love history. When our ancestors were hunters and gatherers, right? Especially if you're so-called black, you're indigenous, okay? And you come from indigenous hunters and gatherers from back in the day, before colonization, before slavery or whatever. We were hunters and gatherers, okay? Our families were hunters and gatherers. We had no money. There was no such thing as money. Well, at least where we were at, there was no monetary system. We had no concept of a money system. We were bartering, and we lived in villages where your next door neighbor or your neighbors had your back. Your next door neighbor will give you money, will give you food, whether you ask for it or not, and be like, here's a bunch of food. We have food. We have enough food supplies in our hut, whatever, or our shack. You don't have to go hunting for like a whole week. You see, we had each other's backs before slavery and before this whole negative social programming, before so-called civilization, which is really a liization. We don't live in no fucking civilization. It's really a motherfucking liization, a liization, which is a system that's based on lies. Okay? We were, and before, like I said, before the money system, we were wealthy because we had each other's back. So how we go from the mindset of it takes a village to every man for himself? How you have to ask yourself, peoples, because some of y'all know the history. You might not know the history, the deep history of before slavery and colonization. But how do we get from there? And you have to ask yourself, what is a better mindset? The village mindset, we all have each other's back, or the mindset of every man for himself? I'm gonna do everything myself because I was taught that I gotta do everything myself. I was taught if I'm grown, I gotta do everything myself. Everything myself. Don't ask nobody for nothing. But at the same time, I gotta chase to be successful. Motherfucker, people help you become successful. To a certain degree, you cannot be more successful without people. Duh. The fuck? Stop thinking this way. If you think this way, stop thinking this way. It's nothing wrong with asking people for money, especially if you're willing to give it back. And once again, I'm gonna ask the question again. And some of y'all can ask and answer this in the comment section. How do we went from having each other's backs, being a village, to being nothing but separatists? Everything's separate. Every man for himself. Especially the hood. See, this is the reason why now people that live in the ghetto are not the only ones that's going through this. But the ghetto is going. This is why the ghetto. This is one of the reasons, not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons why the ghetto is still the ghetto, because we're not united. We're not united. We make each other feel bad about asking our next door neighbor for something, even a piece of chicken, or even some food, or a little money. So fucking what? We supposed to help each other, nigga. Why feel bad about that? Why? We supposed to share. When we was kids, when we were babies, what did our parents told us? When you was growing up with your brother, your sister, right? Y'all the same age group. What did your parents taught you or told y'all? Share with your little brother, share with your big sister. You better share. But down the line, as we grow up and we're grown, living our own lives, we forget that. We forget what our parents taught us as far as sharing with other people. When our parents tell us share with your little brother, or let's say your sister, whatever, that's something that we should have carried with us into our adulthood. We're supposed to share. There's no such thing as we don't have to share. Yes, you do, motherfucker. You're not the only motherfucker in this motherfucking world, nigga. Yes, we do have to share. We have to share. It's an obligation that we have to share, because we on this planet. We in this planet together. So if we living together, we're living this life together. There's a life. See, you have to understand, peoples. There's a life that you live by yourself. You have your own life, and there's a life that you live with other people. You're not 100% by yourself. Even if you're not in a relationship, even if you're a single person, you're still not by yourself. If you have family members, you've got friends or whatever, you're still not by yourself. Even if you're by yourself 90% of the time, ain't nobody by themselves 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to share. There is no such thing as I don't have to share. Yes, you do, nigga, because you're not the only person in this world. You know what I'm saying? So don't you think, since we went from the mindset of it takes a village to the mindset of it's every man for himself, don't you think that every man for himself mindset is a bad mindset? That's almost like a self-destructive mindset. That's a mindset that we were programmed with. Socially, the powers that be, you could call them the Illuminati, the 1%ers, or whatever. They programmed us into thinking this. They programmed us into thinking this every man for himself bullshit, so we could be separated. So it's easier for the majority of the planet to be controlled by 1% of the world. Psst, yo, you have to study this. First of all, you have to study who ruled this motherfucking world. You have to study who rules most of the world's wealth. So you can understand what I'm talking about. That's why a person like me, I'm not that much of an individual. Even me, I'm grinding. I'm busting my ass selling socks, hats, gloves, whatever merchandise. But I'm not just doing it for myself. I'm not working just for myself. I'm grinding for my homie down the block. Big shout out to my nigga Dak, who who basically edits my shows. Whenever I do, when some of y'all who see my more professional episodes, my man Dak down the block, I pay him to do that shit. So I basically, I work hard for him. I grind for him also, and I also grind for my homie who does graphic art for me every now and then. I'm grinding for other people because I'm not trying to do everything by myself when it comes to Grind Ethiks Media. So there's people I have to pay. Because if I do everything by myself in regards of Grind Ethiks Media, I'm gonna get exhausted. I'm gonna be drained out. So I have to grind. And I have to get these donation money. That's why I ask for donation money. Not to put money in my personal pocket, but to put money in other people's pockets. Or whatever Grind Ethiks Media need, I got it. I could spend this little $30 donation on Grind Ethiks. You know what I'm saying? So we have to help each other out. It's an obligation. It's a part of universal law that we have to help each other out. Ain't no one person, ain't no one man, ain't no one woman an island. But we act like we're islands. We act like we are our own separate islands. Fuck that shit. Don't you have to understand they doing that? The Matrix is doing that so they could constantly control your ass. It's easy to control people and to manipulate people when they're not united with a group of people. It's easy to control somebody when they're by themselves and when they have that every man for himself attitude. It's hard to control a person when he does not have that attitude, when his attitude is opposite. This is warfare, people. This is like, y'all don't understand. You don't see it. Because you're going through, this is psychological warfare, my nigga. And this is not, and I know I'm a clown, but I'm not joking. This is psychological warfare. The Matrix done declare war on us, whether we black, white, yellow, burgundy, whatever. They declare war on us, on the majority of the people who are part of the majority of the crowd. That's why you feel bad about asking your mama or anybody in your family for money. It's a setup. It's a psychological setup. You feel bad about asking your daddy, your mama, your auntie, whoever for money. It's because you were programmed to feel bad about it. You were programmed to feel bad about that. So you're beating yourself and your ego. Now, the people that set up these bad programs, they feed into your ego. And then your ego reinforces the fucked up program by telling you, why are you asking your mama for money? You're a grown-ass nigga. You're 35 years old. What the fuck's wrong with you, nigga? You're a loser. So it's nothing wrong with asking anybody that's close to you. There's nothing wrong with asking them for money, especially if you're an entrepreneur and if you're an artist trying to make money. It's an investment. You got to see it as you asking for an investment, and you're going to give it back to them plus more. You know what I'm saying? I'm out. I'm done babbling. That's enough fire. I'm not giving you no more fire to the next episode. Anyway, I'm out. And remember, peoples, tell a friend that's all about the mother effing grind. Basically.